Sit down, shut the fuck up. This ain't going to be 5 minutes. Get comfy. So I've just uploaded a video on a little bit of just a waffle, really, as usual, on the state of the youth policy in England. Go and check that out if you don't mind. It was uploaded like a minute ago or something. So by the time this comes out, it's probably about an hour ago. So, West Ham United, post-match, 1-1. Dimitri Payet with an unbelievable free kick. Like, I actually thought it hit the stanchion behind the net. Didn't think it had gone straight in. I didn't react at all when it went in. Martial pulled it back. I haven't seen the replay of the goal yet, so I don't even know how it went in. I should probably have a look at that, shouldn't I? End-to-end game of football, which I don't know if I expected that or not. I think I did generally expect it, because I thought West Ham wouldn't be scared of us, which turned out to be correct. They came for us to a certain extent, and we did all right with the 11 out that we had. All right, not amazing, all right. And there's some players coasting in the team that I don't understand why. I think Memphis is being really harshly treated by Van Gaal at the moment. When he came on and when he's played recently, when he's been given a run in the team, I think he's looked great. I think he's looked great. I think he just needs to just be given a role and assured that he's not going to be dropped for one stupid mistake. I hope to see him against Liverpool on Thursday. I think he can make a difference at Old Trafford. I thought Schweinsteiger looked good when he came on. I think I like the idea of Schweinsteiger more than I've seen of the player. The player, we've seen bits and bobs, haven't we? He's not really been able to get going because of injuries and various other different things. Fellaini, though. When I saw the team, I lost all confidence. I thought, yeah, the front four looked decent, probably managed to create something, but that midfield, when they're up against Noble and Payet, I was like, this is not going to end well. This is not going to end well for us. And the way it actually played out, with Carrick being isolated and left on his own, and Fellaini just... he's operating in a bit of a no man's land, isn't he? Like everyone said, when we used to play him against Everton, he played as like a shadow striker, and he would be in and around the box causing havoc while balls went in, and he would almost lead the line a little bit for him, wouldn't he? In this deployment in the United side, he's not a 6, which is where he generally should line up in a 4-2-3-1 formation. He sort of plays a bit like an 8, but he's not dynamic enough to be an 8. If you want to be an 8 in a 4-2-3-1 formation, you've got to have drive, and you've got to get up and down the box, and you've got to do defensive duties and create. And he can't create. He can't create fuck all. And today, he didn't defend, and he isolated Carrick, so it almost looked like he was playing 4-1-4-1, which I don't like. And if this stat's correct, I'm just going to read it off the screen down here. So Fellaini, first half, 0 tackles, interceptions, blocks or clearances from a midfielder, when we was under the cosh a fair bit, to be fair. Possession lost 11 times, more than any other MUFC player. That's appalling. That is absolutely appalling. I don't know what his pass completion was. It must have been awful, because I can't think that he would have had more than 25 passes, which is going to put his pass completion rate at something like low 60%, something like that. I thought he played against West Brom in my head, but he didn't. He was just back for the Liverpool game. But he's back, and we're not winning games. Is there a coincidence here or what, that he's back in the side and we're not winning games? I hope Schneiderlin has been rested today for Thursday. I hope that's the case. I hope that there's some squad management going on here, and that we're going to see a different United. I really hope it's Schweinsteiger and Herrera, or Schweinsteiger and Schneiderlin in midfield. I really don't want to see Carrick or Fellaini against that fast Liverpool attack. It's going to be a very difficult game on Thursday. It's going to be a case of who blinks first, isn't it? I'm jumping ahead. I just want to talk about the game a little bit more. So, I thought it was a very entertaining game of football. Intriguing little battles happening all over the pitch. I thought Varela again Positional wise, he's not the greatest in terms of defensive. Very, very similar to Rafael as a really attacking fullback, wing back, whatever you want to call him. I think he's great on the ball. I love his energy. His energy is awesome. Even defensively, I like his energy because everything's a hustle. Everything he's eager to get to, and you don't ever get the impression with him that he's not trying 110%, ever. You know that he's putting full graft in for you. So I love that, and I love that about a player. Thought Smalling did all right today. Blind dragged out a little bit. Maybe should have had a bit more now. So I consider him an intelligent player. He didn't need to make the foul on Payet. I think it was him that made the foul on Payet for the free kick, which I felt like he didn't need to make. I'm going to have to look at how that came about because I think that it was a poor ball from Fellaini which led to that attack. And if it was, then he needs criticising even more again for it. Putting the rest of his team in jeopardy like that. Left back Rojo. For me now, he's got to stay centre half. He's got to go at centre half. I wouldn't mind seeing Riley back in the side for Liverpool. I know he's lacking massively in experience, but I think with Varela's energy on the right, Riley's energy on the left, Rojo's just sheer determination to go through anything, brick walls and boulders and whatever it is, he will not shirk a tackle, and I think you need that at centre half. You don't get that from Blind. You get more of an intelligent distributor and maybe a bit more marshaller. But he's looked off the pace now for like 3 solid games. I think he just needs a rest. Give the guy a rest. He's crying out for a rest. I think Rojo and Smalling can do all right. Both a bit physical. With the physicality of those two at centre half, and then the energy and the attitude that you've got with your full-backs, that's a very strong back line, I think. And I'd be really happy with that. With the midfield then, I think if you go for Schweinsteiger, you've got a bit of grit and determination, and I think if you go with Herrera next to him, he offers you a bit more of an attacking outlet. If you go with Schneidlin, you're going to get that defensive cover. I think any of them three might be a good idea. Herrera looked decent, I thought, today at number 10. His shooting was a bit off, but I thought he looked like he was in the right positions and he was linking up the play nice as a number 10. He wasn't too far forward where he looked like he was a bit lost as a striker. He was operating just in the right area, I thought. And I think with Schweinsteiger, Schneidlin, midfield behind him, maybe those as a bit like a midfield three, because he does also come back and do a bit of graft, would be the best option for us, which then means that going forward, we're looking at today, obviously, it was Lingard on the right, who I thought had a poor game. Martial started out on the left, was pretty quiet and a little bit predictable. Obviously, he's got the two things, hasn't he? He's going to the byline, pasture, or he's cutting inside. And I wouldn't mind seeing him stand up and maybe make a dummy, or just to give himself that little bit more space, because I think he's getting found out a little bit when he comes drifting in off the left. I think when he plays in the middle, though, now he's still got a lot of unpredictability about what he's going to do and where he's going to go. And I thought him and Rashford, there was a couple of times where they was looking for each other. One of them turned out to be offside, but there was a couple of times where they was looking for each other, they was finding each other, and the pair of them together operating in that central role caused a lot of problems, I thought, for West Ham. And I felt if the game had gone on and you hadn't pulled Rashford off when you pulled him off, it might have ended up being fruitful between the two of them. Memphis came on the left-hand side and looked lively. I think, as I said earlier, he needs to be given a run of games, because I like him in that. Thursday night, I would play that again. I don't know how I would do it up front. I do want to see us go 2 up the front, which I said in my full-time Devils video. We're not going to get it. I would like it. He's not going to change. He's stuck with this formation for the entire season. I'd be shocked if he changed it now ahead of Liverpool. But maybe he will. Maybe he'll pull one last surprise out for us and somehow we'll manage to scrape through on Thursday night. But don't hold your breath on that one. Lingard, very, 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 very predictable. And he could learn a thing or two the way Rashford just takes it up and tries to take people on. I'm all for safety first, sensible, easy passes. Roy Keane was the master of the sideways pass. People forget that about Roy Keane. Roy Keane would always pass it backwards or sideways, always, rather than try a risky pass in that third. In the opposition third, though, Roy Keane would shoot. Roy Keane would try the occasional crazy pass. Now, people forget that because it was never like a Scholesy pass, and he had Scholes to do that alongside him. He had Beckham to do that just to his right, and he had Giggs to go and dribble it into that final third. So there wasn't much requirement for Roy Keane to try crazy over-the-top passes. So Roy Keane would keep it very neutral, very safe, do the absolute minimal risky thing, and then clatter you as you came through with the ball as an opposition player. Now, sometimes you need that in a team. Sometimes that's the dirty graft that someone's got to do. And Jesse Lingard today, as a winger, was doing the dirty graft instead of doing the spectacular. To make a chance, you got to take a chance. Football will be 0-0 forever until people take risks. At the highest level, teams cancel each other out. They know what to expect. They've got dossiers and videos and briefings on what to expect about the players coming up for them. So you have to take a risk. You have to try and do something extraordinary. And the reason why wingers and strikers are superstar footballers instead of left backs and centre halves is that they're the ones that make the goals. And they make the goals by doing things out of the ordinary. And Jesse Lingard was very ordinary today. All he wanted to do was play the safe, easy ball to Varela in the obvious overlap, or he wanted to play it inside to Herrera or Fellaini or Carrick. He didn't try and take anybody on that I can remember. He didn't try anything extraordinary. And I just want to see him do it because I know that he's got it in him. He was super direct when he was breaking through. He was super direct when he's been out on loan. And he's taken those risks. Now, maybe this is Van Gaal's not taking a risk in the final third thing, but I really can't see it. I really can't see how a manager says to anybody to not take risk in the final third. Now, maybe I'm grown up with Sir Alex Ferguson where I love that risk. I love where players get the crowd on their feet. But I think that's how we should be doing it, and I think Jesse Lingard has regressed a little bit and he's not taking as many risks. And we're seeing Rashford do it at the moment, flicking it over the defence and trying things and taking people on. I just want to see Jesse Lingard do that because he can do that as well. He's not going to be a first choice for United when we've got the chequebook and the whole world at our disposal to go sign in the summer. But he's a useful squad player, especially like if it got to this stage of the season and the first choice players were flagging a little bit. Jesse can come in, put a bit of pressure on them, get a few games. You know, it's a squad game. It's not about the 11 on the pitch. It's about the 25, 26-man squad. And Jesse can easily be good enough to stay in the Man United squad and be a periphery player coming in, cover for injuries, replace someone 20 minutes to go in a game, get a goal, get an assist. I mean, statistically, he's better than Eden Hazard this season. Hazard's got 2 or 4 in 37 games, something like that. Lingard's on 4 in fucking 23 games, 24 games, something like that. So statistically better than Eden Hazard. Who'd have thought that at the start of the season? People still slag him off. No one's proclaiming him to be the new Messi, are they? They're just saying give the kid a chance, and I think he just needs to just take a little bit more risk because he has got the ability in him. Just a bit of self-confidence, go past someone, fucking make something happen. Magic. So there you go. This might be a real short one tonight, actually. I've fucking run out of things to say. Replay at Upton Park. They can't tell us when it's going to be until they find out whether we're going through against Liverpool. Well, if I was going to give us a percentage chance of going through against Liverpool, I'm going to say it's like between 5 and 7% chance. We've got to score at least 2 goals and keep a clean sheet. When was the last time we did that? Midtjylland? Alright, yeah. But can you see us replicating that? Klopp's already said it, hasn't he? He's going to go out and he's going to score in the first 10 minutes. And he's going to make us score 4. Can we score 4? Yeah. Will we score 4? No. The only thing we could do is mix it up and just go completely bananas. And I'd be shocked. And I'm sure Liverpool would be shocked. And maybe it'd be one of those risks where it'd be big enough that it paid off. But don't hold your breath. So that means that if we do go out on Thursday, as the world expects us to do, and we can go back to not giving a shit about the Europa League again, then the replay is more than likely going to be next Wednesday. Do we have any confidence about going through in that? Not really. But I think you can get at West Ham. I don't think they was spectacular. I don't think they was worthy of all the praise that they've been getting this year. Not based on that performance alone, especially. They was quite ordinary, but for a set piece, would have been nilled today, I think. They had their own chances, and De Gea pulled out a couple of decent saves, but by and large, they was very similar to us. They was having a lot of chances that wasn't really threatening. But Andy Carroll was shit for him. I thought the referee was very, very poor as well, and I'm not blaming the result on the referee. The result was there for us to take, but there was so many times that he should have booked someone that he didn't book someone, and that could have had a massive impact on the game. Obviously, on reflection now, you think, well, maybe Payet shouldn't have been on the pitch. And when we've just seen Juan Mata sent off for a couple of yellows, you're like, it stings a little, doesn't it? Because it's not consistent from the refs, and that's the issue that people have always had with referees. The rules are there to be interpreted, and generally they're interpreted differently, and people just want them to be interpreted consistently. And I think that's when people would be okay with referees. But even the penalty incident against Liverpool last week, Howard Webb saying, yeah, that's a stonewall pen. I mean, and you've got to listen to Howard Webb. The guy's one of the most experienced referees ever. And then every one of the pundits going, I don't think it was a penalty. And personally, I didn't think it was a penalty. I didn't think it was inside the box. But I'm not a referee, so I have to defer to Howard Webb on that one. I don't agree with him, but I got to defer to him. So that's that. I can speak a little bit about Friday night's youth match. United lost to Brighton, and there were some very polarising performances in that match. Matthew Olasunde is a new signing from America that everyone seems to be very hot about, especially all the American followers and viewers. I thought he looked a bit shaky. Now, it could be his first game. I think he literally signed the day, although he's been on trial for a while, I think. So I think he was officially signed on the day, played that night. He didn't have a great game. I don't believe he's a left-back, which is where he was played. I think he's meant to be a right-back or a centre-half. He's going to struggle again at centre-half based on what I've just saw, because our under-18 centre-halves, Roshan Williams, Tuanzebe still eligible for the 18s, Timothy Fosu-Mensah's eligible for the 18s, and Tyrell Warren, but I'll come on to Tyrell Warren in a minute because that, wow. So, Olasunde, nothing came down his side. He didn't look comfortable on the ball, was what I really noticed. And maybe that's just something that the players that have been at United a lot longer have had drilled into him. They know each other, they know what foot each player likes it delivered to. They just have that a little extra intuition that a player making his debut, I think it was his debut at least anyway, I'm not sure if he's played it before actually, didn't really have. Tyrell Warren at centre-half, I give him a 12 out of 10. It was an unbelievable performance. It might be one of the best centre-half performances I have ever seen. And yes, we conceded 2. And we conceded 2 from set pieces. And I haven't seen a replay of them actually. I think it was on MUTV today, but I didn't record it. I do really want to see what happened with both the goals. So I don't think the keeper was at fault. And I think they just got a free header, so it's probably the marking. So I want to see who was down for the marking. I think one was a corner, one was a free kick, I think. Or it might have been 2 corners that they conceded on, and it was just mad. The ball just ended up in the net, and you're like, what the fuck happened there? Brighton celebrated like they won the FA Cup, the World Cup, and the Champions League all in the same night, just off scoring those goals. But Tyrell Warren, if you think of all the things that you want a centre-half to do, so he's 17, just 17 as well, playing under 18s, first-year scholar. Wears the captain's armband, and it is the captain. He often finds himself in the opposition box. He'll go on a drive, he'll lay it off to someone, he'll look for a link-up, he might move it on again, and he ends up finding himself in the opposition box, causing a little bit of havoc, but he's also quick enough to get back. He's aggressive, but composed with it. He's not just reckless, he's aggressive when you want it. I think you've got to play aggressive football. A lot of academy players seem to have that aggression polished out of them a little bit. A lot of academies seem to just, they round off those edges, don't they, on a player? And when you see a real aggressive player coming through, you know that they've got the hunger, the desire. That's when you know you've got a real player, I think. And Tyrell Warren is an absolute ball of aggression. We've seen it with a few of our 18s actually recently. Riley showing some great aggression. Rashford just permanently aggressive and dangerous. Tyrell Warren, centre-half, Vidic-esque in terms of bravery and aggression. A little bit of an edge to him as well. A little bit of a dirty edge to him, which I love as a centre-half. I think you've got to have that, just to show you're not going to get fucking bullied by anybody. He will go out of his way, he'll put a shoulder in, he'll put a hip in. He's physical. He is not afraid. He's brave. Technically, he's decent on the ball. Not the best, but I've not seen him doing anything wrong. Friday night, he did nothing wrong. It was literally a flawless performance. The only thing you could have said is maybe he can offer a bit more of a threat in the opposition box when we've got a corner or something like that. But that's if you're being nitpicky on him, because honestly, it was a flawless performance. He hustles the rest of the team around him. His distribution's decent, like I said. His technique is decent. His anticipation and his reading of the game is fucking brilliant. He's spotting stuff. He's getting in ahead. He's always on it. His concentration is fine. He's composed. It was a fucking brilliant performance. And he had a similar performance against City in the under-18s a couple of weeks ago. And he's regularly putting in this level of performance. I asked one of the coaches today that I saw at the match, actually. It was at the first team game today. Is he going to be ready for the under-21s anytime soon? And he said, yeah, it's a matter of time before he's in the under-21s, which I'm fucking buzzing with, because everybody else stepping up, drag him up. Let's see how he does in the 21s. Let's see how he does with a little bit more of a difficult opposition, because you know what? He's fucking 110% ready for it, and I for one can't wait. Alongside him, Charlie Scott. Charlie Scott's played in midfield, he's played in defence. And I thought he had a solid game. He scored the goal with the most nonchalant of like throwaway lobs over the keeper, which just ended up in the net. Fair play to him. Charlie's a bit of a grafter. He's a little bit of a grey man though. I've not really ever spent any time noticing him, because he's not really done anything that stood out as spectacular, but a perfect run-of-the-mill player. He's doing all the right stuff and he's getting picked on a regular basis, so fair play. I thought probably one of the second best players on the night was Tyler Reid, the right fullback. He's a sort of player that you can't see stay in as a right back. He's fucking huge. He must be all of 16 stone as a right back. He's a big lad, really well built lad, tall, stocky. There's a career as an NFL linebacker if he doesn't make it in football. And I don't know how he's got the energy to be up and down the right touchline in a similar way to the way Riley is. But with that frame, it must be really putting it on him. So he must have some serious fitness to be able to feed that body up and down the touchline. He's got a good cross on him. Again, a great attitude and a great temperament. He's aggressive when he needs to be, composed when he needs to be. Really fucking good feet for the size of him. Really good feet. Wouldn't mind seeing him at centre half. Really wouldn't mind seeing him at centre half, because I think fullback's just going to be too difficult for him as he gets older and as he eventually does slow down. I think he got a great potential centre half in there for him when he does move back in a similar way to Tyler Blackett. Very big, hell of a build on him. Eventually going to be moved into centre half. So I wait how that's going to go down. But at the moment, he's doing fantastic as a fullback, and he's a complete fucking breath of fresh air with the size of him and that. And like I said, he's got a great attitude, like it. Kahinde and Cal Whelan were the two holding midfielders, and I didn't think they had the greatest of games. Kahinde's shown some decent flashes and was looking to be a bit more dynamic. And I'm hot on Cal Whelan. He's one of the players that I said a couple of months ago actually, that I thought was certain to get in the first team. Last couple of weeks he's been a little bit quiet. Fergie said you can't expect consistency from young lads this age, so maybe he's just going through a little bit of a growth spurt. Don't know what it is. He didn't look at the races this week, and he's not for a couple of weeks. And then the forward three was Gribbin, Danley, and started off with DJ Buffon in the number 10 with Indy Boonen up front. Indy struggled getting in the game in the first half, and DJ struggled operating in the number 10 role in the first half. And that was mostly down to the way Brighton contained it. Brighton kept it so tight that there was just very little space. Once DJ moved back in the second half, we really started to see the level of ability that this lad's got. And I'd never really noticed it before, but his feet were ridiculous. Both footed, going past players on the left, on the right, multiple touches of the ball, keeping it safe, shielding it. He looked really good in that deeper role. Don't think it suits him to be playing with his back to goal. And I did speak to him on Friday night after the game, and I was asking him where he prefers to play, because I see him often deployed either as a number 9 or as a number 10. And he said he prefers to play anywhere across midfield. And it makes more sense to me now. He is a lot better with his head facing the goal. I don't think it suits him so much with his back to goal. So I'm interested to see if he can start operating. If he keeps getting deployed at number 10, because that's what the coaches want, then he's going to have to adapt his game a little bit. But when he comes deep looking for the ball and he gets his head up, I thought the second half he was two different players. I thought he was class in the second half, and I thought he was really good. If he'd have played like that for the whole game, he might have been in with a shout of man of the match. Zach Daly was a little bit quiet on the left wing. Couldn't really get much going. There wasn't anything coming through that way. There was no sort of link up going on with Olasande, but I said it, debut could have been something to do with that. Maybe he was also keeping an eye on him defensively. Nothing came down that side, so you have to give him some credit for that. Gribbin on the right hand side. Now a lot of people are very, very, very hot on Callum Gribbin, and I don't want to slag him off, because I've seen some of the touches that he's got, and he's got an unbelievable touch. But I'm not sure I've seen him have a good game for the 18s this season. So when people always ask me who's the next 18s player that he thinks coming through, and a lot of people say Callum Gribbin because they see some videos of some of the unbelievable things that he does. I'm not seeing it. I am not seeing that player on the pitch at the moment. Very disappointing game from him on Friday, especially when you know the level of ability and potential that he's got. Really disappointing game. In the second half, Adi Barlow came on, who's an under-16s player, and I've seen him now like 3-4 times. He's been dragged up into the 18s. I think he might only be 15. He may be 16, but I think he's only 15. And he's looked great. He's got that same sort of tempo that Rashford's got in him, so it makes a good replacement for him while Rashford's in the first team. And this energy and tempo and drive that he's got, he's forcing errors out of defenders, and he immediately started to do that when he came on. And the other substitute that we had on the night was Angel Gomez. And I've compared Angel Gomez to Messi in the past, and what I saw on Friday night just reinforces what I saw from Angel Gomez. His lateral movement is ridiculous. Now, it helps that he's tiny, and he must only weigh... If he weighs 8 stone, I'd be surprised. He is a tiny young man. Very short, very slight build, but so agile, so fast, and a touch that is almost like cheating, which is where I think the Messi comparison comes in. Because Messi is obviously extremely small, extremely gifted touch, unbelievable lateral movement. But what also, for me, marks him out as a Messi-style player is I couldn't tell you where he plays. He's not a striker, he's not a winger, he's not number 10. He's just put him there and give him a free roll and let him roam on the left, let him roam on the right, let him come down the middle. And what he also does like Messi, which I really like, is the way he brings other people into the game. And the reason that Barcelona was so successful with Messi is using the likes of Xavi and Iniesta and more recently Suarez and Neymar, players that have got the brain to be able to keep up with him. He's pulling people into the game, he's distributing the ball's always moving when it comes to him. It's never stood still while he thinks about what's going on. The ball's in and it's out again, it's in and it's out again, and he's just looking for someone to make a mistake, someone to switch off, and he's like, there's my bitch. And in we go. And at the end of the game, he must have took on half a dozen players in one dribble before someone clattered him out into touch. He's 15 years old, and the coaches that I speak to at United are saying that this is one of the best players they've ever produced. And I see no evidence to the counter of that. And supposedly he'd only trained one day last week due to illness. So the fact that he's pulling out performances like that, he's got to start for me. At the moment, I would start him over Callum Gribbin in the under-18s. I don't think Gribbin deserves his place at the moment. And I think Angel definitely does. And I would be wanting to see Angel given 90 minutes in the 18s. Let him have a free roll. Maybe let him have it on the right, or give him the number 10 position and let him just drift around and let him just see what he can create. There's 5, I think. Might be 5, might be 4 games left to the end of the season. Let's just see. Let's just give the lad a chance and let's see what he can do, because he can go on and be that elite Ballon d'Or winning level of player. Now, it's probably at the earliest 9-10 years off He'll be 24, 25 years old. But I think he's definitely got the potential to get up there. Definitely. And I think from what I've seen the last few weeks, Tyrell Warren has definitely got the potential to be a first team player. Now, the issue that he's got, and the issue that all of these lads have got, is that not only have they got the first team player ahead of them, especially these 18-year-old lads, and the likes of Roshan. Roshan's got, at centre half, he's got to deal with Jones, Smalling, Blind, Rojo. Who else have we been playing at centre half? Carrick, I guess. All ahead of him in the pecking order. And then he's got to deal with the likes of Tuan Zebe, Fosu Mensah, who Van Gaal likes to play there at the moment. Blind, I guess. You're looking at like 6 or 7 players ahead of you in the rankings, in the pecking order. So where does a 17-year-old centre-half who's playing out of his absolute skin, when you've got another 17-year-old centre-half who's playing out of his skin, and an 18-year-old centre-half that looks fantastic, and another 18-year-old centre-half that looks fantastic? Do you know this failing academy that we've got? And this is replicated all over the pitch. The only place that we've not really got so many coming through the academy is striker. But our best striker is 20. You could argue Rooney's probably the second best striker. He's in the twilight of his career, so his place isn't going to be around for ages. But then you have to look at what's the next level of striker, possibly Memphis. Well, he's only 22. James Wilson, 19, 20. Will Keane, he's a little bit older, but in terms of his development, the injuries have hampered him. He's only 23. You got all of these young strikers, and then it's Rashford. But after Rashford, there's not much in terms of strikers. We've only got extremely young strikers then. We're talking like Indy Boonen, who I think he's 17. I think he might be 16. He's 16 or 17. And that's the next level down. So I think when we're bringing in new signings at 16, 17, first year, second year scholars for the under-18 side next year, I hope there's some strikers in there. Because if Rashford now gets injured and Martial picks up a knock, we'll be, Wilson out on loan, Rooney's injured till potentially the end of the season. No Marshall, no Rashford, no Keane. That's 5 strikers. We haven't got a 6th. You're looking at trying to play like a false 9 sort of system with Januzaj, or maybe Pereira. And there's 2 lads that I have no explanation for why they're not in the side, but I would love to see them in the side. Anyway, I think we've gone off record, off track there. Enough for tonight. There's another 33-minute video. Thank you for watching. I think you all enjoy the longer ones, don't you? I can see the watch time on them. I think most people are enjoying them. Cheers for watching. There's some Footy Manager ones coming out soon that I've not recorded yet, which I'm planning on doing first thing in the morning. I'm also going to be doing one which might take me all week actually, which is a Director of Football one. How do I see Manchester United's team evolving over the next 5 years? I caught up my MLS one. I meant to record it yesterday. When I went to start recording it, one of the games already kicked off. Sorry. Don't come to me for your MLS info, because I got it wrong. So I'll have another one out for next week. There's all sorts of shit coming out this week. Obviously, we've got the Scousers on Thursday. There's a cracking video coming out on Full Time Devils on Wednesday, so make sure you check that out. Once again, thank you for watching. If you've made it all the way through to the end of this video, please tell me in the comments. And that's it. Thank you for watching. See you soon.